Hello and welcome to the Cricket Hotspot podcast. We are in Toronto, getting colder by the minute. How are you doing, Sarthak?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Good. It's been a great week for cricket, and we will cover it all from the epic 219 and a great test match last night, actually. Today we are recording it. So, by the way, this is podcast 15. The significance of number 15 is that 15 is the highest. Is actually very important for Adam Gilchrist. He holds a record of being on the winning side for the first 15 test matches of his career, which is the highest for any player. So it's the best start to a test career. Very good.
What a good time to come play for your country.
Very good time.
I haven't seen a defeat till 16th test, or not even a defeat, but haven't seen not a victory till the 16th match of your career, which is great. You're settled in, which no one complains actually.
Yeah. Same can be said of Tim Bresnan right now. Although he hasn't reached 15, he has I think 8 or 9 on the trot, and looking forward to see how far that streak goes.
There'll be a very interesting series come January. Pakistan and England.
Yes, I am also looking forward for that. Dead tracks, and let's see how those famous English bowlers do. Now let's move on to our on-field things. Some records. How about that 219?
Amazing. The only person that each and every person thought of who could break this record was Virendra Sehwag. Like, in fact, I did not put my money on Sachin being the first one to get to 200.
Yes, me too.
It was always Virendra Sehwag for me, no matter the number of other big hitters in the world. Say Chris Gayle, if he gets to play a match.
For the West Indies.
For the West Indies. Or any other big hitters, Afridi, Dilshan, whoever it may be, but Sehwag was the only one who had the capacity to play a long innings, not just a quick 550 or 60 or 100, but he had the capacity to go till 200, and he showed it.
And you know, one thing that is very good about this innings and very good about Sehwag as a player is that in the first 3 matches, he was practically out at a very low score, and you would think that he's out of form. You would think that it's going to be a tough time for India in Australia because the openers are not playing, and the match he says that we need a good start from the openers because he himself got out on the first ball. The next match, he goes on and scored not even 100, a double ton, the highest score in ODI cricket. Very good. Very good. I'm very impressed.
Great comeback. He's always been the one to shoot from the mouth, never held back, and it's great to see him follow up what he actually says. I remember back in I don't know how many of the remaining people remember during World Cup. Before the World Cup, the first match, he said, if I bat 50 overs, I can help the country win. I can help the team win.
Yeah.
And I can score a huge score.
Yeah.
First match of the World Cup against Bangladesh, he's plays for 47 overs, scores 175.
175. Yeah.
So I'm glad that he follows up to where he puts his money, and he puts his money where his mouth is, and saw the result.
I mean, let's not give him too much credit. The wicket was the flattest you will ever see.
Oh, and the boundaries were pretty short too.
The boundaries were 50 yards. The bowling was not what we have seen in the past. It wasn't the best. So, but it was still to stand there and hit 219 and play through the innings is special, especially in India. A very good innings. And imagine our SRT, who was once the only player to score a 200, and now he's become the slowest player to score a 200.
That's a good way of putting it, actually. But yeah, it's taking nothing away from the innings, although the boundaries were short.
Yeah,
the bowling wasn't world class, but it was a good innings nonetheless. You needed someone to actually be there and score a 200, even if it's for the taking. You need a person to actually go out and achieve that, and that's what Sehwag did. And I think in the record books, it'll just go down as 219. It won't say how it came.
Yeah.
I think that's what it matters.
Yeah, it won't show that Semi dropped a catch and West Indies missed a run out for Sehwag. So it was certainly a good innings. Moving on, any other special things about this match?
Oh, special things about the match. I think about if you talk about the last two matches on the whole, or the entire series on the whole, really glad to see how Kohli and Rohit Sharma performed, and actually Ravindra Jadeja. He's shown consistency since the England series. It was not a flash in the pan. It was not a one-off series. He showed consistently that he's the only one. When everyone was going over 5 or 6 runs and over, he was the only one who came up with a decent, respectable economy of 3 point something, which with 2 or 3 wickets, which is really impressive on a ground like that. And everyone on the whole standing up as a team and performing, which is great.
I think one thing that India will take a lot of heart out of this series is how people who wanted to grab a chance, grab an opportunity, have certainly did so. Whether it's Rohit Sharma, whether it's Irfan Pathan, who came in and bowled very well. Actually, I was impressed the way he bowled. Manoj Tiwari with the 100 in the last match. Parth Patel, you can say no, but the rest have done really well. Umesh Yadav has certainly cemented his spot, but the Rohit Sharma obviously takes the cake for, but certainly very good performance from a depleted Team India.
Definitely, Parthiv Patel missed out. I think there was a golden opportunity for him to cement his spot in the one-day side as a backup keeper. But going forward, I think the team management might look for another alternative, or if they don't give him an extended run, they might look for an alternative of an attacking keeper who can be a backup to Dhoni in one-day internationals when Dhoni needs a rest. Yes. But great performance by the rest. Bowlers, batsmen, whoever it may be, they went out there, whatever opportunities they had, made the most of it, and now it's great to see healthy competition within the team for those spots.
Yeah.
So that no one takes their place for granted, and you have good backup bench strength in case one of your frontline players gets injured.
Yeah. One thing that I would like to discuss on this whole series was Chennai, we saw, did not have a good crowd. But the rest of the stadiums had probably some of the most refreshing number of people that came. It was packed, and all of them were in small towns. Is that a sign that where IPL does not play, where cricket does not come that often, you will get the crowd? So I think, according to me, meaningless ODI series can be put there so that the appetite of the local people can be fed by those series.
Absolutely, 110%. I myself am from Baroda, which is not a huge center or international center. Matches are not played as regularly as you would wish. But every time a match is played there, no matter what the opposition is, you'll find a full stadium. It can be anyone. It could be Australia, even Zimbabwe could come and play, but you'll see a full stadium because people want to watch cricket there.
Want to watch their stars compete.
Up close. Yeah. And the thing is, centers like these, they don't get the IPL action as you just mentioned. Major centers like Kolkata, Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, they get IPL
Bangalore
matches throughout the in the season. They get other matches, ODIs and test matches throughout the year, and you can't necessarily expect the public to come out for each and every game. They might just come for very selected games if it's a marquee matchup, say against a Pakistan or a South Africa or an Australia, or maybe in England. But otherwise, you can't expect crowds for those matches where just the West Indies is performing, which you might know even the result before going into the match. That might be whitewash.
Yeah.
So,
but still, it was great to see the buzz. It was great to see the enthusiasm back in the Indian market, and it was sad to see during the English tour. But it's great to see back.
Definitely.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next segment. Now, in this segment, let's cover the Australia-New Zealand series.
One of the better test matches we saw in recent times.
Yes. Well, 3 very close test matches have happened in the last month, so we have gotten our fair share of close test matches. But certainly a very memorable one. It was great to see New Zealand win. In Australia, we predicted 1-0 Australia. That was predicted 1-0 Australia. And what did you think? Without Daniel Vettori, New Zealand go on and win a test match?
It was very, very, very unlikely. The day I saw that Vettori is out till till January 2012, I was like, okay, that's it. New Zealand has done. Because Vettori is the presence of him on the field, not with only the ball, but the bat and on the field just makes a huge difference to the New Zealand camp. They know they have an experienced campaigner who's been there for the last 10, 12 years, who's performed at that level, and who has the cricketing brain to make do with any sort of situation and come out of it.
Yeah.
So that kind of experience really comes in handy when you're playing in opposition like Australia, no matter with its depleted stars, no matter where you are, but you're playing Australian team in Australia. That makes it all the more tough.
And it was a spicy wicket. It was a green top and a good match, a very good match.
Definitely. I pray for more pitches like that, where you have not even an even balance, but where the batsman's actual technique is called out, and you have the conditions which are more in favor of the ball. Because when it's more in favor of the bat, it's just a boring test match to watch. Let's just be honest, because no one wants to see 500, 700 runs being scored over 4 days and it ends in a draw. One innings being played on each side. People score 500, 600 runs, inflate their averages by 10 points, and then just go home, and that's it. No one wants to see that. When it's actually in the favor of a ball, you can get a good test match. No matter how many wickets are falling, no matter no one scores in double digits, you get to see an interesting test match. And that's where contribution like David Warner's or
by the way, we predicted that for him to come into the squad, and he performed very well.
He did, and not to forget the contribution of
Ross Taylor,
Brownlie, the youngster.
Yeah,
very good performance. I think he scored consecutive 50s in all 3 of his first test matches.
Yes.
So really good performance by them. Batting, although could have been a little better, Dave Warner and Brownlie both showed that there was something if you apply yourself. And I think it's only batsmen like Warner who will perform on pitches like that, because they play the natural game.
Yeah, they actually look for runs.
This was actually really similar to the innings Sehwag played at Gayle, if you remember, where he scored a 200 when none of the Indian batsmen could even score a 40 or a 50, I guess.
And it was a torrid Sri Lankan tour, as we get...
very similar, because they know their strengths. They know how to... They don't go in their shell, and they don't let the bowlers dominate them, which is the best thing we can do. Have a positive
But I think his technique was also good. It wasn't that he was playing T20 shots. He was playing proper cricketing shots.
Absolutely.
And obviously he had that aggression. He had that extra punch, which most of the Australian batsmen did not have. And I think that's where I think he was served well. And as we predicted, he's certainly more than a T20 player, and it was great to see him come back. Your prediction of Ross Taylor, he led from the front, not only with the bat but in the slips. So many slip catches in this test match, grabbing all of them, some of them very good. He must have really enjoyed his performance in the test.
Definitely. I think the entire New Zealand camp must be pumped up right now, because winning a test match in Australia after 26 years, great achievement for them as a team, and to come and do it without your main player for the last 5-6 years, Daniel Vettori, it's an achievement in itself.
And I think one man that I think the world keeps on forgetting is Doug Bracewell. A great bowling effort, 6 for in the final innings. It's not easy. Australia was going on a winning course, and to bring them back and to win is certainly very special.
Single-handedly changed the course of the match. The most impactful player on either side, or impactful spell on either side, was by him. Those 3 wickets in 2 overs just before lunch, they changed the entire complexion of the game. They needed 80 odd runs with 8 wickets remaining. That's a cakewalk.
Not on that wicket, but yes, yeah.
Even then, the way David Warner was going, it's a cakewalk. You needed just someone to stay on the other end and give him the strike. If you just don't lose wickets, you were in a good position to win the game.
And they lost 3 wickets twice. In the first time it was for 0 runs, and then second time it was for a very low score. And I think if you lose 3 wickets in that kind of a block, then it doesn't bode well for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even if you have one set batsman at the other end, it doesn't help. In fact, it actually hampers his concentration, because he's just waiting at the other end, watching his partners fall down on the other one.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to our next segment.
Right, guys. So let's talk a little bit about the Pakistan-Bangladesh Test match. Victory by innings for Pakistan. Expected result.
Yes, it was. The way Bangladesh played in the ODIs, it was certainly very much expected. And if it was anything else, it would have been bad for Pakistan cricket, I would say. And they are on the rise. They're doing very, very well. So it's great to see them win.
They made full use of a batting paradise that was offered to them. Everyone went on to score a huge one. Mohammad Hafiz, Yunus Khan,
Yep.
Asad Shafiq.
Yeah.
Everyone getting
Great to see Asad Shafiq do well as a youngster, and he has the technique, but he needed that time in the middle, and he got his first 100. So
there was a lot of hype about, no, I wouldn't say a lot of hype, but there was talk about Ashraful being called back to the test squad for Bangladesh, but absolutely no contribution in the test match. He scored 1 in the first innings and 0 in the second one. This was an anticlimax of the proportions of Virender Sehwag coming to us England for one test match.
yes, it was
Scoring a golden pair.
I think he's lost it. Let's be honest here. I haven't seen him perform since last 10 years. Maybe once he has performed. So I think it's about time that they leave Mohammad Ashraful out, regardless of the talent he has. But it was, all in all, it was a complete victory from Pakistan. Hafiz bowled very well. All the spinners bowled very, very well.
I think that was a last opportunity for Ashraful to prove himself, which he totally blew. So I think they have to look for better options at that number 3, number 4 spot. And I'm sure there's no dearth of talent in Bangladesh cricket. With the youngsters coming up, Elias Sani, the one all-rounder that came in, is a very good prospect for them.
Yeah.
And
He got actually 5 wickets on his debut.
Yeah, he did. So great prospect for them, and I think more people or more players like that would definitely improve the Bangladesh cricketing standards.
Yeah, it's also great to see Pakistan maintain that actually upward curve and go controversy free for the first time in a long while, and I think healthy Pakistan means healthy international cricket. Anyways, let's move on. Moving on, now this is our continuing segment where we talk about the list. It's a list that on a week me or Sarthak make, and then the other has opinions on it. Now in this, I made the list, and I decided to make a list on the autobiographies that I would love to read that have not been written yet. We know a lot of English players who keep on writing autobiographies and calling it so far, and but this is of people who have retired or have played the game for a long time. I think the first one on my list would have to be Ricky Ponting. I think he's probably one of the most interesting cricketers that I would love to know more about because he's the only, I think, Australian captain to lose the Ashes twice in England back to back, and he was a part of a very successful Australian team when he was a kid. Basically, he came in, I think, a 17-year-old, and certainly a very good captain, but I would love to know more about him and how his journey towards captaincy and his now this low period for him.
Yeah, it would be great to read about his rise. As you mentioned, he came in pretty young. He was really brash.
Yeah.
It took him some time to mature and play at the international level at his potential. He always had the talent, but to behave like he belongs at that level, to show the maturity to belong at that level, it took him some time to get there. And once the selectors saw that, they rewarded him with handing the captaincy after Steve Waugh retired, and that was a huge step. And even though he was blessed with a good team, he never let that bog him down, and he did continue to lead from front, and which was mark of another great captain, because no matter how good a team you have, if you're not good enough to lead it, it'll always show. So great, kudos to him. And
I think people forget, who are not Australians, forget that he's been the best Australian batsman since Bradman. So it would be certainly an achievement. Next one on the list is Ganguly, probably the most out there captain for India that has ever been, in your face kind of a character. I wouldn't be wrong in saying that he's one of the best captains India has had. Now I don't know where actually MS Dhoni goes, but he certainly right now for me is the best captain India has ever had. So it will be great to see his sort of how, according to him, was the Greg Chappell Ganguly spat and how his career ended, because that certainly is sort of a forgotten era, and I think it would be good to read his sort of viewpoint on that.
Definitely, I think his captaincy marked the turn of the century and a major event in Indian cricketing history. He changed the total mindset of an Indian cricket team. It was not about defense. It was about going on the attack, taking it to the opposition and not just taking it lying low. That, I think, that major mindset that changed the aggression that came into the team was major responsible factor for Indian team turning it around and performing overseas too.
And I think let's not forget the match fixing scandal. He had to take the team out of that, which was very shameful, and it was something that I think people of characters like Dravid, Ganguly, Tendulkar, Kumble could do, and it would be certainly a great autobiography to read.
One of the most important things he did was back the youngsters. I think if not for Ganguly, we wouldn't have had Harbhajan Singh, we wouldn't have had Sehwag, we wouldn't have had Yuvraj Singh,
yep.
We wouldn't have had Zaheer Khan.
Yep.
So it's very important for people to realize that Ganguly was majorly responsible for India winning the 2011 World Cup. Even if he missed the 2003 mark where he led the team, the people that he did get into the team were
big
factors
in the end.
Were big factors in getting us to the 2011 title.
Another one would have to be for me Chris Gayle. I think we have seen a lot of controversies. He's sort of a brash character again, and I think he's also an out there kind of a character. Whatever I have read of his tweets, he certainly would be an interesting read, and especially with his contract negotiations with the West Indies Cricket Board, it would certainly be an interesting read as an autobiography.
Oh, definitely. I think I love the vibe that Chris Gayle brings to the team, to the ground. Yeah. As soon as you see him there, he's always smiling. He always has that positive feeling around him, be it his batting, be it his fielding, be it whatever. He's always joking around with people. And I've had the fortune of knowing some other Caribbean people too, and I love the general laid-back feeling, and it's never a dull moment with them around. And it'll be definitely worth read. Hearing from him what he has to share with us.
Last would be Daniel Vettori. As we mentioned in the last podcast, I think the man has done it all for New Zealand in his short lifespan. He became a selector, he became a coach, he became the captain, he was a player, he was their leading batsman for a while being a leading spinner. So it would again be a very interesting read of representing the people that don't get representation a lot in world cricket, and certainly doing it very honorably, which is a mark of a great ambassador for the game, which we lack in the modern game.
Definitely, I think Vettori is, for a while in between, was a one-man team. If it's bowling, he has the highest wickets. If it's batting, he has the highest runs. He was the only one carrying the team on his shoulders. So, really important part of the New Zealand team, as we just mentioned a few minutes ago. And for them to go on and perform without him is a positive step in the right direction, because they know Vettori won't be there for a long time. So they have to find people to step up, but his contribution to the New Zealand team cannot be undermined. I think in the recent past, how much the amount of influence that Stephen Fleming had on that team, I think Vettori had the same or probably more.
Any you would like to put in?
Definitely one that I would really like to read or find a little more about would be MSD, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Great. He marks the turn of the century, marks the turn in Indian cricket history where the other India came through. People from the interiors, not from the major cities, not from the cricketing centers such as Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, but from the interiors.
And
really,
he has led them as well as anyone could.
and exactly. In a short time, he went from being just a player, a swashbuckling wicket-keeper batsman, to the leader of the national team, to winning the World Cups, to winning the IPL, to winning the every other cup out there.
Champions League, to winning everything.
So, meteoric rise, luck played its part, whatever you call it, but the man has what it takes to be a great leader.
Okay.
And he has a very calm head. Really important to have your players under control in tense situations, which he manages somehow. And it'll be a great read to hear his struggles coming up from a smaller background, from the smaller cities, and making it to.
And I think one thing that I feel with MS Dhoni is that he doesn't share everything in the media whenever he's talking, although he gets a lot of opportunity to actually talk because of the Indian media we have, but he doesn't become open. He always tries to remain politically correct, and I think an autobiography would be just the thing that I think Indian fans would need of him, and to get the real opinion of him for a particular character in the team and stuff like that. So a good pick, I would say, certainly a good pick.
All right, folks, time for another recurring segment for our podcast. This is the moment of the week, or the personality of the week. This week we have birthday boy Yuvraj Singh, who celebrated his 30th birthday on the 12th of December.
Party boy has reached 13.
He's reached 30, finally on the other side of 30 now.
Yeah.
But another one of the youngsters that we were talking about that Ganguly brought into the team made a major impact right from his first match. It was, I remember, 2000 ICC Champions Trophy against Australia.
He made an 85 in 84 in that all too important match that I think India needed to win to go into the semis, I think it was.
Absolutely.
And it was great to see somebody other than Sachin do it against Australia.
It was great coming up as 17, 18-year-old, no fear of the short ball. Perfect opportunity for him to display his skills, and he showed the world with an attacking 84. Zaheer Khan also made his debut in the same match, and it was great to see two youngsters leading India, which was, a sign of things to come. One being a batsman, one being a bowler, and they
both have stayed.
So which was really important. It was not, again, a flash in the pan. It was signs of things to come, big things to come.
I think if that's your favorite memory of Yuvraj, my favorite memory would be the NatWest final.
Right.
There is I think that's one of the finest ODIs ever to be played by any country, according to me. Maybe that's because I'm Indian, I'm saying that, but I think it's certainly for a kid growing up in that era, it was certainly a landmark match where you could say that things changed, and it was certainly very special, and I think Yuvraj was the real protagonist of that innings. And if it wasn't for Yuvraj, Indian cricket wouldn't be here it is now.
I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you go dig deeper, if you ask for my favorite Yuvraj Singh memories, there are a number of them. I would say there was another one in the 2002 Champions Trophy where that catch of Jonty Rhodes, when he was standing in a leg slip, top edge of Harbhajan, he took it one-handed, diving to his right. Perfect. That image is still etched in my memory, and I think he was the protagonist of the turnaround. In South Africa was on course for a victory.
Well, I think the protagonist was Herschel Gibbs getting injured.
That's true.
If that injury wouldn't have taken place, India wouldn't have won that match. But I guess we are going 10 years almost to that. So
2007, the T20 World Cup. Who can forget those 6 sixes? His performance against England, and the next match, which was against Australia, where he scored another 60 of like 30 balls or something,
and hit the longest six of Brett Lee in that tournament. It was a great innings.
And most recently, and the most memorable one, 2011 World Cup, man of the tournament. Beautiful contribution with the bat and the ball. He scored consistently, took wickets.
Whether it be the West Indies or Australia or anybody else, Ireland, he was up there and he was taking wickets for India. But I think think one of the funniest memories of Yuvraj Singh would be his troubling of Kevin Pearson. I mean, the most unlikeliest candidate to actually trouble the most nonchalant batsman of our time.
Happy memories. I hope Yuvraj comes back to the team sooner rather than later, and hope he's injury free.
He's just 30. He still has another, in actually modern day terms, he still has another at least 6-7 years to go. And if he can contribute more, it would be good for him and India.
Definitely.
Anyways, this is a goodbye from us. We will do some specials in the upcoming week as the year winds up. So hopefully you have liked our efforts so far, and keep liking us on Facebook at the Cricket Hotspot Podcast. Email us anything at questions@thecrickethotspot.com, and we will hopefully answer all of them. And see you then. Until that time.
Thank you for your support, and please let us know if you want us to include any of your segments, your favorite segments, things you would want us to talk about, or things you would not like to listen to. So we will definitely do our best to accommodate all the requests, and please keep it coming.
Yes, it's a goodbye from all of us here.
Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye-bye.